Beautiful souls, thanks for hanging out with me today for another episode of the Soul Food Pod. Remember that you can find the link to today's recipe in this episode's show description or on thesoulfoodpot.com. Today, we're going to be talking about all about our Black folk soul food Southern fried chicken recipe shared over 15,000 times and counting all across social platforms. So let's not waste another minute. Here's our listen to the episode. Let's dive right in. Welcome to the Soul Food Pod. The first soul food podcast about Southern soul food. I'm your host, Shaunda Necole, cookbook author and food and lifestyle blogger, making life easier plus more soulful, one recipe at a time. What makes me an expert on authentic soul food? My heritage dates back to my great-grandmother Florence, a highly esteemed North Carolinian one-woman catering queen. In honor of my grandma Florence's legacy, I run the world's #1 soul food website today. I'm a born and raised Southern girl living my best life in the fabulous entertainment and food capital of the world, Las Vegas. I'm so proud to share my family's African American soul food recipes, representing our beautiful people and a legacy of what we eat. My mission here on the Soul Food Pod is to provide you with recipes for success. So join me as I create conversations about how accessible and approachable classic Southern soul food recipes can be. I'll teach you how these iconic recipes are now easy enough for anyone to make and everyone to love. What is the difference between fried chicken and Southern fried chicken? Surprisingly, the answer has nothing to do with how either batch of chicken looks. Simply put, the difference between fried chicken and Southern fried chicken is in the flavor. Most soul food is Southern, but not all Southern food is soul food. Get it? Here's how you can tell if a batch of fried chicken, chicken battered in flour, is a Southern soul food recipe. Crunchy, flavorful outside with juicy, seasoned tender meat inside. Yep, you know that's a Black folk soul food Southern fried chicken recipe. Now, as far as soul food fried chicken, when people ask, what is Southern fried chicken? I think they should ask instead, what is the secret to good fried chicken? Or, what is the secret to making great fried chicken? The answer is a soul food Southern fried chicken recipe, a recipe that Black folks created and perfected. There's no denying that chicken with a balance of flavorful, tender meat on the inside and crispy seasoning on the outside is a soul food specialty. So I'm sharing the secrets to a savory batch of Southern fried chicken the soul food way. Do you want to make the most flavorful and delicious vegetables and meats? Do you have the most flavorful seasonings in your pantry or on your spice rack? No worries if you don't have the answers to these questions. I've got you with my step-by-step digital printable guides to take your taste buds to new heights. I put together a collection of the best African American seasonings and spices, recipes passed along from my grandma to mom to me, and now to you in my easy step-by-step cookbooks and guides of all that's flavorful with these ultimate lists for soul food seasonings and how to season Southern fried chicken. Grab them from ShaundaNecoleshop.com, ShaundaNecoleshop.com. Also linked for your convenience in the episode description. How do you make a traditional Black folk soul food Southern fried chicken recipe? Or how do you make the best fried chicken that's both tender and crispy? To do this, you no longer need years of experience perfecting the precise temperature for hot oil in a Dutch oven or a cast iron skillet. You can still use these stovetop accessories Or you can give yourself some grace and plop your battered chicken pieces in a deep fryer. So, what is the use of a deep fryer? Deep fryers are a wonderful invention that can make your life so much easier. You can quickly and easily use them indoors or outdoors to fry foods like southern fried chicken in deep oils at high temperatures. I call new age home appliances like deep fryers and electric pressure cookers magical meals in minutes. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention using an air fryer to make this Black folks soul food southern fried chicken recipe. When it comes to chicken, one of the reasons air fryers are so popular is that people want to eat healthier but still get that crispy southern fried chicken taste and texture. Air fryer chicken is a healthy and crispy alternative to deep fried chicken. But back to our deep fried chicken recipe here. How do you season the chicken before cooking it? Soul food seasoning rule number one. Hear me now. Always season your chicken or your meat.
Mm.
Seasoning chicken before cooking allows the spices to penetrate the meat and helps release the flavor during the cooking process because it's all about the flavor. Black people fried chicken recipe. So, with that, in moderation, you can still enjoy a batch of deep fried Black folk soul food southern fried chicken. Fried chicken is another darling recipe of the South, akin to potato salad, cornbread, and collard greens, or sardines and pork and beans, hey, for my DC Chocolate City people. I promise there's nothing like a delicious, piping hot, fresh batch of Black folk soul food southern fried chicken. The kitchen equipment you'll need for this: a deep fryer, or old school and easy, a large cast iron skillet, or a Dutch oven, kind of like a pot, a whisk, and fried chicken scissor tongs. Now, ingredients for a Black folk soul food southern fried chicken recipe are going to include 6 to 8 pieces of chicken, or if you're really skilled, you can take 1 3-pound chicken and cut it up into those pieces. You need, I always just say the whole, at least half of the peanut oil or vegetable oil. Peanut oil being our preferred oil of choice for frying chicken, but again, if you're allergic, please grab the vegetable oil. 2 cups of all purpose flour divided, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1.5 teaspoons of onion powder. You're going to need some paprika, teaspoon, and that's going to be 1.5 teaspoons of that. 3/4 teaspoons of red pepper, chili pepper, 1 tablespoon of poultry seasoning or all purpose seasoning, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 3/4 teaspoons of black pepper, 1 egg, and a half a cup of buttermilk. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the buttermilk because you can make the buttermilk for this recipe yourself. Because let's be real, it's not a common pantry ingredient. I doubt that you just have this sitting around at home. So, for the buttermilk recipe, for this recipe, you're going to need a half a cup of buttermilk. That's going to equal, excuse me, let me rephrase that. A half a cup of buttermilk is going to equal a half a cup of milk and a half a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. You're going to stir it and let it sit for 5 minutes, and bam, you have buttermilk. So the instructions for this soul food southern fried chicken recipe go like this. All right, follow me now. We're going to mix the poultry seasoning, salt, and pepper in a small bowl. Rub the seasoning mixture all over each piece of chicken. Then we're going to pour the peanut oil, the preferred oil, or vegetable oil into the deep fryer, the 6-quart skillet, or if you're using a Dutch oven. And in that case, you want to make sure the oil is at least 1 inch deep. Heat the oil over medium heat or until it reaches 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And while you're waiting for the oil to heat up, place 1 cup of the divided flour, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, and red pepper in a medium-sized mixing bowl or a 1-gallon resealable food storage bowl. You could use a large mixing bowl if you wanted to also. Now, shake, or if you're using a bowl, mix the sealed bag or the bowl to combine the ingredients for a homemade poultry seasoning, and then set the flour mixture aside. Now we're going to pour the 2nd cup of flour into a second resealable bag or medium or large size mixing bowl. Set that aside. In another, so now we've got a 3rd mixing bowl or bag. You want to in this case, we're just using a mixing bowl. So we've got a 3rd bowl. Whisk together the buttermilk and the egg, and now set that mixture aside. Okay, So the chicken's going to go through a 3-step process from here. So it's often called a dredging process, a battering process, or just 3 steps. Here we go. So the first step is to place the chicken in the bag or bowl of seasoned flour and shake or toss to coat the chicken evenly. Second, shake off the excess flour and dip the chicken into the buttermilk mixture. Lastly, and third, transfer the chicken to the last bag or bowl of flour and shake or toss it until it's very well coated. Now we're going to place the coated chicken into the preheated oil, skin side down, and be careful not to overcrowd the chicken in the oil because you can fry a second batch if you need to avoid overcrowding by frying all the chicken at once. You just want to make sure that the hot oil is at 350 degrees Fahrenheit and it remains there. And if you're on the soulfoodpot.com, you'll see a picture. You can use a thermometer because otherwise, how would you really know unless you're using a deep fryer? All right, so you want to cook the chicken pieces for 10 to 12 minutes, occasionally turning to prevent any excess of browning. And as the chicken batter turns golden brown, remove it from the hot oil and allow it to drain in a closed container to keep the fried chicken warm. And you want a paper towel under the bottom of the chicken in the container. Now, and that soaks up the excess oil. So you are all set. Once you finish frying all the chicken pieces, serve this soul food Southern fried chicken right away and enjoy. Now, I just want to make note that you can also check out my mom's recipe for Mama's fried chicken on the soulfoodpod.com, season 1. Now, can you make this recipe in your Instant Pot? You guys know I love an Instant Pot. So yes, check out this easy Southern fried chicken Instant Pot recipe on the soulfoodpot.com. Okay, this question's always asked, what do you serve with soul food Southern fried chicken? All right, so you've got the chicken, you're ready to make that, or you're getting started ready to make that. What do you serve with it? You can start with a recipe that's both salty and sweet. Soul food chicken and waffles, make it a whole meal. Or there are several soul food recipe favorites when serving Southern fried chicken, like sides like baked macaroni and cheese, to Southern potato salad, creamy mashed potatoes, fried cabbage, Southern coleslaw, chicken yolk, or collard greens. And again, all of these soul food specialty side dishes can also be found on the soulfoodpot.com. Now, what sauce goes with Black folks' soul food Southern fried chicken? Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or an afternoon snack, one of these condiments is sure to be a favorite when it comes to Southern fried chicken. So your choices, some of the favorites are hot sauce, ranch dressing, pure honey, one of my favorites, honey mustard, I also love honey mustard. I love most things with honey, ketchup, or barbecue sauce. All right, so let's go through your frequently asked questions about Black folk soul food Southern fried chicken. Question number 1. How long do you cook this soul food Southern fried chicken recipe? All right, so deep fry the chicken for 10 to 12 minutes or until the internal temperature reaches 180 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're using almond flour for this recipe, keep an eye on the chicken while it's frying or air frying, as the almond flour tends to cook faster than other wheat flour. So if you're not using an all-purpose flour or a self-rising flour, and you're using almond flour, you just want to keep an eye on the chicken because it's going to fry a little faster. Now, at what temperature do you cook soul food Southern fried chicken? The temperature to maintain the hot oil when deep frying is going to be that 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And again, you can use a thermometer to make your life easy for that, because otherwise, if you're not using a deep fryer with a temperature right there, you wouldn't know. What oil is best for frying chicken? Peanut oil is the preferred for deep frying because its relatively high smoke point is about 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Other oils have higher smoke points, but impart a strong flavor to the food. Peanut oil has a mild flavor. It's a mild flavored oil, so it won't interfere with the taste of the fried chicken. So we don't want to go through all that perfectly battered seasoned flour just to have the oil interfere with the taste. So peanut oil is the preferred choice. Do you have to fry chicken in peanut oil? No, especially if you're allergic to peanuts. So instead, use vegetable oil in that case. Now, why is hot oil important? Hot oil is essential when preparing fried chicken in a deep fryer, Dutch oven, or skillet because it's the cooking agent for frying the chicken. And again, very important. I know I'm saying it about 5 times now, but it should be maintained at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, can you make this? I think we talked about this already in an air fryer. Yes, again, air fryers do work for soul food Southern fried chicken, and you won't believe how good and crispy the chicken actually tastes. All right, which part of chicken should you use for this Black folk soul food Southern fried chicken recipe? You can use whatever chicken pieces you like. Whole chicken, half chicken, or just your favorite parts of the chicken, like chicken wings, chicken legs, chicken breasts, chicken thighs, or chicken drumsticks, whichever pieces you prefer. The method's going to be the same for frying. All right, so here are some pro tips for Southern fried chicken. Some Southern cooks like to use a baking sheet or a large bowl to separate the dark meat and the white meat. They then dredge the dark meat first, fry it, and then dredge the remaining chicken, the white meat, and fry it from there. Another pro tip, people ask, what else can you use to season the flour? Other than a sprinkle of salt and pepper, some Southern fried chicken recipes even call for cornstarch. And we have some recipes on the soulfoodpot.com that call for cornstarch to thicken the batter for an extra crunch. Or you can even use hot sauce in your batter for a little heat. Now, you may also consider using a buttermilk brine or a buttermilk marinade to tenderize the chicken before frying it. So we do dredge the chicken in buttermilk to get a little acidity to break down some of the protein and get the seasoning in there for the most intense flavors. But you could actually marinate overnight, or check out our Instant Pot Southern fried chicken recipe for how to marinate the chicken quicker instead of overnight, just in like 20 minutes using the Instant Pot. All right, so you guys also ask, is it better to use flour or cornstarch for fried chicken? Well, flour is necessary for frying chicken, but because it's what makes the chicken crispy and fried. So you're gonna need that, but you can also use cornstarch as an optional additive ingredient. And again, that's for the more crunch. Now, if you're preparing a kosher recipe, it's been asked, are there any substitutes for the buttermilk? So milk itself, and this is pretty important, does not add much flavor to your chicken, even when marinating. You see, the marinating of the chicken in buttermilk is not for the flavor, but rather the acidity is used to tenderize the meat. So important to know. So you actually could just, and I'm saying it here, you can actually substitute water for milk to make this a kosher recipe. So you still add the half a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to the water. And then at that point, you could also use kosher salt when seasoning. Now, is it better to use egg or milk for fried chicken? So the milk, in this case buttermilk, is mixed with the egg for this Southern fried chicken recipe. Then, before placing the buttermilk and egg-coated chicken into the preheated oil, tongue twister there, the chicken will undergo a 3-step dredging process. So I'm going to repeat that again because it's the whole essential way to getting that crunch and the flavor for your chicken. So again, first, place the chicken in the bag or bowl of seasoned flour and shake or toss to coat the chicken evenly. Second, shake off the excess flour and dip the chicken into the buttermilk and egg mixture. And third, transfer the chicken to the last bag or bowl of flour and optionally add some cornstarch and shake or toss until it's very well coated. Now, do you do egg or flour first for fried chicken, you asked? Place the chicken in the seasoned flour before you dip the chicken into the buttermilk and egg mixture. Now, why do you dip the chicken in flour before egg? The flour helps the egg mixture stick to the chicken, so that's important. Join the conversation about Southern fried chicken recipes. Again, check out episode 4 of the Soul Food Pod for Mama's famous fried chicken recipe. All right, thank you, beautiful souls, for joining me for today's episode. And remember that food for the body is not enough. There must be food for the soul. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Soul Food Pod. Did you enjoy today's conversation and recipe? If you want more easy to make soul food recipes and Southern food for the soul, then follow me for ideas that make your life easier plus more soulful. Subscribe here to the Soul Food Pod and subscribe to my food blog, thesoulfoodpot.com. On the Instagrams, follow me at Shaunda Necole. Have you had today's recipe? Would you make it? Comment below and let me know. And make sure you rate this podcast 5 stars and subscribe for all the soul food.